All right, so good morning, good evening, wherever you are coming in from. I am Attorney Kevin. We got another episode of the Not an Accident podcast, episode number 46, which is absolutely insane. And I got a special one for you guys. Obviously, all of our guests are amazing, rather. But this is, I like to call the sound of Tampa Bay.
That's cool. Cool. I'll take that all day.
Yeah, we got DJ Fresh in the house, Mr. Doug Hensel. So I appreciate you coming and hanging out with us for a little bit.
Thanks for having me, man. I was excited to get the phone call and super pumped to hang out with you today for an hour and just chop it up.
Well, I see you at so many things. Obviously, you're so involved in Tampa Bay, which is amazing. We're obviously going to get into that. But it's nice to finally connect with you, and that's the amazing thing about the podcast is I've gotten to know so many great people, and I'm excited to get to know you. I just want to dive right into it. I mean, we get going. How did you get started into DJing and hosting and getting involved in these events around the Bay Area?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised here, and it was just wild. I mean, I had no idea any of this was going to transpire or happen, but it just kind of turned into a waterfall effect. Our radio station, Wild 94.1.
Very familiar. Yeah.
Yep. So it's our hip hop contemporary station. Back in the day, 1998, when I had just graduated high school, they became, like a brand new station and broke the airwaves, and everybody wanted to work for them, be a part of the street team, and just do anything that they could to just work for the radio station. So I went in there to go fill out an application. The girl wouldn't even give me an application. I mean, I think my freshman year in high school, I'm 18, and I'm like very confident because, I knew I just wanted to work there. So I was like, I was going to do whatever it took to just get my foot in the door. She wouldn't even give me an application. She's like, there's like 400 people that have applications here. You're not. She literally told me you're not.
You're
not.
It.
Okay, cool. So that I don't like no, right? So when I want something and I have a goal, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen and have it come to fruition. So I wound up calling everybody I knew. I said, hey, does anybody have a radio contact at this company, right? And turns out a kid I went to elementary school with, who I was buddies with, his mom worked for the sister station, the Smooth Jazz station. So I called her up and I said, I would do anything to just get my foot in the door. If there's anybody, I'll clean the restrooms. I'll do just give me a meeting with somebody, anybody. And so she wound up getting me a meeting with Dave McKay from WQIK, who was a radio legend at the time. And I sit down in his office. He's like, who are you and what do you want? And I was like, I just want an opportunity. I love music. I'm a hard worker. And he got me a job doing radio music surveys at night, which I didn't even know existed. So I would go in the studio and I would call people.
If people saw me right now, I gave a curious look, I was pretty perplexed. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the wild part that a lot of people don't understand of how you create opportunities for yourself to get to your end goal, right? What do you need to do to get to that goal that you want to get, right? Especially when everybody else is trying to get there too. So I was like, done. I'll do whatever it takes. So I would go into this room in the studio, right? So in a big building like that, you have multiple different actual studios. You have the Smooth Jazz studio, you have the hip hop studio, you have the Top 40 studio, blah, 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 blah. But I was just in the building, okay? So I'm in the building, I'm in a room with me and 3 other people, and we're calling people around the country, and we're saying, hey, I'm so-and-so with Radio Music Survey, just want to know, and this is back in the day, what CDs are in your car? There was no iPod back then. There was no, so it was what's in your CD wallet? What tapes are you maybe still listening to?
You guys had to create the analysis, the data.
We were creating an original data playlist.
Yeah, because you couldn't go streaming now. You can just pull, a million times, 2 million times.
Yeah, there was no what's in your Spotify.
Yeah,
this
correct.
is old school grinding of me writing down, oh, you have the Dave Matthews CD. Oh, you just bought the new Queen anniversary CD. Oh, okay. You like Leanne Rimes. Okay, cool. So we literally were compiling. So I didn't realize it at the time, but I'm almost foreshadowing my DJ playlist of what people like around the country.
Because you knew, from the job.
Because I talked to all these people. So I did that for about 3 months. And then on my way out, because keep in mind, we're calling people on the West Coast. So we're calling people up. I didn't get done, I think, until 9 o'clock at night. So I would leave. Well, when I would leave, I would pass by the hip hop studio of Wild 98.7 and the Wild Bunch, Big Mom on the Wild Bunch show, right? 7 to midnight.
I remember.
And I would just poke my head in and be like, hey, you know, like whatever. And then one night, because they saw me for like a few months, they invited me in and then it was game over. I'm sitting in the studio. I'm like, I made it. And I was just a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
And then they asked me to kind of hang out a couple more times or whatever. And then they're like, and I was like, hey, can I do something? Is there anything I can do? They're like, yeah, take the requests. Because our phones are ringing nonstop. We were the newest, brand new radio station, and we were hip hop. You had, you know, country, you had 93.3. You didn't have any hip hop playing on the airwaves.
I'm trying to think, what was the big hip hop in 98 around that time?
Bro, you're talking Juvenile.
I was gonna say,
you're talking
Ja Rule, maybe? No, he was a little more 2000s.
Yeah, bro, you're talking
50
every time
wasn't
I come
popping
around
yet.
your city, bling bling.
Yeah.
You're talking, I mean, like old school.
Yeah.
You know, hip hop. So this was probably 99. The first started 99.
So this is Diddy. This is
this is Mace. This is Harlem World.
Yeah.
This is
Biggie was. No, I think this was after. Probably you're probably still playing a little bit. Biggie.
Yeah,
and Tupac,
you're
maybe.
playing Biggie. You're playing the Pac.
Yeah.
You're playing all the hits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're playing Skilo. I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like the good old jams, not like the music today. But it was cool because they asked me to just start taking requests.
Yeah.
And then I'm also getting all downloaded on all what everybody wants to hear right now. So it was like programming. And then fast forward, I kind of became like an intern. I wore a Gator hat, so they called me Gator Boy, which is weird. And then
It's crazy how they always come up with nicknames
Dude,
in the radio
they're so
world.
creative.
Yeah, it's like
because nobody can see you.
Yeah,
so
so
you
it's
have
like-
to talk and visualize everything to
come
your
up with
listeners.
like a persona, basically.
100%, you know, and you have to really explain everything in detail because once again, people are listening to you in the car, on the radio, whatever, and you're having to paint the picture for them because there was no webcams really back then or anything like that. So anyway, so after like a couple of months of that, there was a crazy thing that happened. We were doing a big, huge ticket drop, giving away Jay-Z tickets, and it was like one of the biggest concerts at the time. So there was a Kmart parking lot. Yeah, Kmart. That's how long ago this was. You can't even find a Kmart these days.
I didn't want to tell you, like 98, 99, I was 7, 8 years old, but I get you. I didn't want to
Kmart was the Walmart, right?
Yeah.
So across the street from the studio was
Not your local storage place. This was Kmart before that.
Yeah, exactly. And we had probably 500 people out there trying to get these tickets because back then
Everything was in person.
Everything was in person. If you wanted something, you had to go there to try to win the tickets or try to get it or whatever. And keep in mind, we're a new station. People were doing anything just to get a T-shirt, bumper stickers, keychains, tchotchkes, you know, like
because you couldn't go online. There was no mail order or anything like that. What was like? Remember the CD shop in the mall or whatever? I think it started. Was it Jive or something? I know.
Well, there was Goody, and then there was
remember you used to go to the music shop.
You had to go to a record shop,
or I remember Best Buy was like the other place to get like CDs.
Yeah, and so it was just, it was different
City.
time.
There you go.
Yeah, Circuit City. But it was just different times back then.
People are showing up. They're grabbing merch. It's crazy.
Yeah,
you guys are the new guys
and there
on the
was
block.
like, I mean, at least 500 people in the parking lot. So our team, right, our radio jocks, they were doing a one leg up contest. So people had to stand on one leg for a long time, and then the last two people that were left standing won the tickets because they just had two pairs of tickets. So everybody's freaking out. We were done at midnight. It's like 11:45. These people are still holding their legs up. Everybody's panicking. So our guy from the street team's calling in the studio.
How many hours are you into this now? When did you start?
I mean, they were like
2 hours.
Yeah, it was like 2 hours. So I think we started at close to like 9:30, 10 o'clock. And yeah, I mean, these people are just diehard. You know, they're hopping on one leg. They're doing whatever they could. These people are like, it was insane. Okay. So everybody's freaking out. They're like, we got to do something. We only have like 15 minutes till we go off air, and we have to do this before, you know, you can't overpromise and underdeliver, especially with radio. So it's like, we have to get people to drop their legs, do something. So I don't know what came over me, but I ran out of the studio. But for some reason, we had a cowboy, which is wild. We had a cowboy hat hanging up in the studio for some reason, in a hip hop studio. I grabbed the cowboy hat. I don't know why. I got in my car, drove across the street. I pull up and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. It looked like just like one of those street takeovers, you know, that you see. And like I said, I don't know what came over me. But I pulled up to where everybody was at. I took off all my clothes. I got out of my car. I put the cowboy hat over my private parts.
Okay.
And I ran up there and I just started going yeehaw and grinding like just for fun.
Yeah.
On one of the contestants. She started laughing so hard she dropped her leg. She was out. One of the other guys who was there, he started laughing so hard he dropped his leg. Boom. All right, we got 2 winners. Blah, 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 blah. And I got in my car and went right back to the studio. And everybody was like, yo, what the hell did you do? I thought I was fired. I thought I was in trouble. But this was wild.
Yeah.
This was wild 98.7. This was a whole, like, their whole culture was push the envelope, be as crazy and as loud and obnoxious and just as wild as you possibly can to draw attention to the new station. So the rest of the street team came back over. They had told, Big Mama and the rest of the Wild Bunch what had happened. And they're like, bro, your new radio name is Cowboy Dick, and you're officially hired. We'll have the paperwork for you tomorrow. And that's how I got hired. It was that crazy. Gave me a keys to the promo Jeep the next day, and it was just like a whirlwind from there. But that's how I got into DJing, because Friday and Saturday night at a club called the Pleasure Dome in Ybor City, we would go and promote. Friday was hip-hop night. Saturday was like techno and house and breaks night. Got to be friends with the managers and the DJs and all that stuff. And one night the lighting guy called in sick, and I was like, oh, well, everybody's freaking out. Because back then you had to have a lighting operator. And I was like, oh, I know how to run lights. The previous summer, I did an internship with my uncle up in Atlanta, and he has a professional lighting and staging company. So all of this,
crazy how this all comes
all
together
of this
right
was
now.
just universe, man.
Yeah.
I really feel like if you just seize on opportunities, even if you don't 100% know what's going on or know what it is, figure it out. Try to figure it out, because you could be missing out on one of the biggest opportunities of your life. So I went up there, I started just doing the lights and stuff like that. The DJ's rocking. I'm watching how he's like curating the crowd and playing stuff. And then when the dance floor gets too packed, he plays a crappier song to get everybody to go back to the bar to make the bar money. And he was orchestrating the whole thing. And I'm just like, I'd never seen anything like it. I mean, I still got goosebumps to this day. And I remember it like it was yesterday. So after the club night, he comes up to me, and he was like the baddest DJ at the time, DJ Extreme. Like he was the king. He's like, bro, I'm firing the lighting guy. I'm calling the radio station and telling them that you're not allowed to do any radio promos past 9 o'clock. You're my new lighting guy. I said, dude, I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Amazing.
As long as you teach me how to play music like that. If you can teach me how to DJ, I'll do whatever you want me to do, because it's an opportunity. And 3 months later, I'm literally opening up for him. I caught on that quick and learned how to work the equipment, learned how to, mix and curate the crowd, build up my library of CDs and records. And he became my mentor, and he was like, your name's DJ Fresh, and this is how we're going to roll you out and do it, and blah, blah, blah,
DJ
blah.
Fresh already. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
There's so much that I want to unpack. The first thing I want to say is this was, and correct me on the timeline, but I do remember this was probably, Howard Stern was probably just getting going at the time.
I think it might have been just a little bit before satellite radio.
And then MJ and BJ were going at that time.
Bubba
and
Love
Froggy,
Sponge.
Bubba was going. So that's what I was going to say.
Radio was huge back then. Yeah.
But that was like, I feel like what I do remember as a kid, like we didn't listen to a ton of it because there was, as far as pushing the envelope, but everybody was looking to push the envelope.
Yeah.
I mean, that was like, radio was, I think at some points, like almost bigger than TV.
Yeah,
in a
that
lot
was
of ways.
that was your social media currency.
Yeah.
Now it's like, how many followers do you have? What's your engagement? Who do you have on your show? Who are you partnering up with? That was what it was back in the day, because the radio jocks were having Ja Rule come in when they were in town promoting their show. They were having Juvenile come in. They were having Britney Spears come in. They were having all these artists come in. And it was, what can you do to push the envelope? What can you do to have everybody in the town talking about this skit, this activation, this sticker stop, this and that of what you did. So if you were on the radio, you were a king, because there wasn't many opportunities to be on TV back then.
No.
Obviously, TV's personality is a whole other thing. But
Well, you'd have to be in LA or New York to be on TV, too.
Yeah, unless you were like a news or local news person or,
But radio, you could be in different
100%.
city, local or cities, smaller markets and things like that, and have more of an opportunity. Two things that I kind of resonate from your story, among many things. Number one is I feel like you had a sense of awareness where you were always trying to constantly learn. Like you were always looking around and trying to pick up information. And with that, which I think is very rare I see in young people, is that you were willing to ask questions.
Sure.
Like, hey, can you teach me how to do this?
Sure.
Can you? And I think so many people are so afraid
They're
of
terrified.
Yeah, of
Terrified.
like, oh my God, I'm so scared of getting told no, or I'm so scared of getting fired, or I'm so, if I like ask for help or I ask for an opportunity. And I think a lot of people think that opportunities surround money as
Sure.
far as like, how do I get a raise? How do I make more money? How do I do this? Rather than saying, hey, how do I go and learn a skill?
Sure.
And the reason circling all of that together is that if you go and ask the right question to learn a skill where you can become more valuable, then you're going to get more money and you're going to get more opportunity. But you got to stop putting the cart before the horse.
Yeah.
Don't say ask for money and teach me a skill.
Sure. Yeah.
Get the skill,
Right.
then ask for more money because you're creating value.
100%.
So-
Yeah, and that's I think the downfall of technology, social media, all of that. They see other people with their success. They see kind of these instant, like the crypto wave, for example, right? It was like everybody thought they could instantly be a crypto millionaire overnight, with stuff, but it gives people a lot of false hope. What I see with this younger generation, and it's sad, but there's no hustle mentality.
No.
There's no grit, grind, go out there and do whatever you need to do to make $1 or $10 and turn that $10 into $20, $100, $1,000. I came raised by a single mom. My dad was not really in my life, and I was working since I was 12, 13. Odd jobs, painting fences. I'd work at a pumpkin stand during, Halloween season to just make extra money.
Yeah.
I would do whatever it took to just help my family. And that has always stayed with me. And that's why me at 45 right now, I'm out hustling everybody in my industry. There's nobody that's working harder than me. There's nobody that has more opportunities than me in the Tampa Bay and surrounding areas, DJ entertainment wise, because I won't let anybody outwork me. I won't let anybody outgrind me. I won't let anybody out opportunity me, because I'm just built that way. And I came from a survival mode, and I try to instill that when I go talk at schools and other things too. I try to teach them, look, if you're not out hustling everybody, then you're going to get out hustled. So it's either you create these opportunities, ask questions like you said, learn from people, find a mentor. If you don't have good parents, that's still no excuse. You can still find somebody by asking the right way, the polite way. Hey, would you mind teaching me? Hey, would you mind if I did an apprenticeship? Hey, would you mind if I learned from you? Man, I'm telling you, there are so many people out there who would love to take somebody under their wing and guide them and help them and be able to pave the way and change their life and their future and break that cycle. Yeah, I could have, went down the road of my dad's side of the family of drugs and bad stuff and whatever. But I chose not to, because I saw what it did. I saw how it broke the home and the dynamic and all that. And I said, when I become a dad, right, as you well know, you want to lead by example. You want to do things differently, and it's very important to me to be a leader and to show my kids anything's possible, but you got to put in the effort and you got to do the hard work.
I think that people are one of the words I'll say that has really been a pet peeve for me lately is workflow. And everybody's always trying to now create these systems and this AI
SOPs
and SOPs and all this. And what happened to just doing the work?
Right.
What happened to just saying, you know what, I'm going to come up with a game plan, because if you don't, fail to plan to fail. I get that. I'm not saying to just go aimlessly.
Sure.
But what happened to just plugging in for a couple hours and just locking in and just getting it done?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss on that part. It's like trying to plan all these, SOPs and these checklists and all this stuff and all these templates and all this crap. And it's like, what about just doing it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I saw this thing the other day, and this guy was talking about one of the most important things that he does to free up his time is he got a Tesla Cybertruck, and now he can work instead of drive, and that saves him all this time. And I just was like, oh my gosh, man, come on. Just do the work, get it done, do the work, you know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. Some things you're going to have connect to here and here, and you got to build out, certain things to have a workflow if you're, managing marketing and ads and stuff like that, right? Certain things have to talk to each other, and you got to build your funnels and all that stuff. But for the most part, it's everybody's trying to overcomplicate things these days, and I think we're so overstimulated because of tech now, because of this AI race and everything else, that everybody thinks that they have to do things this way. Just find what works for you and just do it.
Yeah, just hustle.
you know,
Yeah.
just do it. Pick up the phone, call your client. You know what I mean? Or just replan your day. I'm a big time strategist. So for me, when I wake up, getting my media stuff done, right? Getting all of my work done so that I can free up part of my day, making sure that I try to take my meetings only on like Wednesday, schedule my meetings on like Wednesday. So that way I don't have like meetings Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's a nightmare, right? So time strategy for me is extremely important because I don't have a lot of free time. I love being a family man, so I have to balance family with my career and my businesses that don't sleep. Like, it's not a 9 to 5. My companies and my businesses are like all over the place. So, it could be 3 a.m. and I have to talk to Japan about something with like our video game company, or like, maybe we're editing something for a corporate client and, we have a time crunch and, we had to switch some stuff around. So now we're editing at 5 a.m. or whatever it may be, just to make sure that we get it done. So I think time strategy is a lot more important than like how to structure the new terminology of stuff. It's like networking. I hate the term networking. It's like, no, you're connecting with people, man.
Yeah.
Just go connect. Don't worry about networking. Just go connect with people. The more opportunities you have, the more it's going to stem from that. If you know 1,000 people, I only know 100 people. Who do you think is going to be able to have more opportunities come from that?
Of course.
You know what I mean? You know more people, but it's all in how you work that, with your connections. The more you are seen as a good steward in the community. Attorney Kevin's a great guy. When you are not even in the room, how are people talking about you? That's what separates you from somebody else, because somebody's more inclined to hire you, go with you, trust you for a life decision that they need for what you're there to help them out for, right? Same thing with me. Like, the cool thing that makes me feel good about, how I'm doing things the right way still 25 years later after starting this journey is that when people come up and they're like, bro, you're everywhere. That's what I want to hear.
Perfect.
The day I don't hear
Same thing.
is the day I'm falling out and the day I'm slacking. The day people are not saying that I'm everywhere, that's when I need to panic. And that's when I've taken my foot off the gas and I'm probably going to retire or something. But that's what fuels my fire. Like, hell yeah, good. Yeah. I'm glad that you know that, because I'm exhausted and I am everywhere, but I want to be everywhere. I want to be as doing as many cool, fun events as possible, doing as many charity events, raising money for sick children, and doing all these amazing things, because that's what's important to me.
I see you everywhere. Yeah, I mean, we see each other.
Yeah, we do.
So, yeah,
we
I
run
probably
into
see
each
you
other all the
once
time.
a
We're like,
month.
whoa,
Yeah,
yo.
I was like, yeah. So I probably see you once a month, and mainly in your capacity as DJ Fresh. And I asked you before the podcast, I was very curious about this, and you kind of talked about it a little bit when you were learning, about, different concepts as far as getting the crowd to go to the bars and getting them to come to the dance floor and this, that. So question is, when you see a crowd that's not like hyped or not, how do you hype up a crowd? How do you get the people going?
Yeah, I think now is harder than ever too, which is crazy
They're always on their phones and
they're desocialized.
Okay.
It's not the same. People used to come out, and sometimes they still do for certain types of events, but people now are just so dopamine craved and driven because of scrolling and this and that, and they're getting hit with targeted ads, and because they search for a Ford Bronco or some sort of new health supplement, and now they're just being fed all this stuff, and it's hard to just detach and be in the moment. Coachella, right? You see all these phones up. Nobody's in the moment. You're paying thousands of dollars for a ticket, but you're not in the moment. You can just pull this stuff up later and watch Sabrina Carpenter or Justin Bieber or whomever it may be's performance.
I was going to say, when have you seen Justin Bieber perform in the last 5 years, or when have you seen Madonna perform in the last decade?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like, and people were hating on his performance and everything, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was brilliant the way he pulled up his old YouTube clips and sang with his younger self and showed his journey, his trials, his tribulations, his, and the way he did it was, I thought, just perfectly done. I mean, here is like, the Prince of Pop of our generation, that next Justin Timberlake, right? And then some coming up, and people hated on it, but you got all these people with their phones and not being in the moment. And I'm like, dude, if I'm paying all that money, I may take a quick clip or whatever, but I want to be in the moment. I don't want to be staring at my phone and I'm not even watching the artist. It's like, it's just crazy to me. But Yeah, I mean, crowds are just different these days. I don't really do nightclubs anymore. I'll play at like Sparrow at the Moxie Hotel because it's a very sexy lounge that you've got a really great crowd that comes in there. People are really looking to spend money to have a good time, a unique experience. You got a gorgeous rooftop. I do like my pool party the last Sunday of every month at the Hollander Hotel, which is cool.
It's
You
a fun
get a
time.
great, unique crowd out there, and I can play anything. Yeah, it's hard, man. Sometimes you just get funky crowds, and sometimes you just have to adapt. Maybe I'm playing some cool house remixes, and maybe they're just kind of not into it, and then all of a sudden be like, you know what? It's throwback time, and I'll go back to the good music, and I'll go back to throwback, or sometimes if I'm, really at a certain type of event, mainly if it's like a corporate event or something like that, I'll say, all right, everybody, if there's anything special you want to hear, come up and let me know. I got you. Come up and let me know. And then it's a fail safe. And then when they come up, hey, can you play this? I'll be like, I'll play it. But if you don't dance to it, I'm turning it off and I'm getting into another song. But I make it fun with them. I make it
of course.
a fun thing. And then it becomes more interactive. So then it's not just a DJ playing music. It's like, oh, this guy's being interactive. And if it's a corporate event or whatever, and I do have to kind of cheese it up a little bit, I'll get out there and I'll dance and I'll party with everybody or whatever to let them like see, oh, it's okay to be goofy and a little silly. It's okay to get on the dance floor. Everybody's just like on edge these days. Sometimes, man, you got just, and for the most part, I don't advertise, so like most of my clients, I know them, they know me, they've seen me at the Rays or here or there or whatever. But man, some of these corporate and private parties and stuff are just a banger.
Oh, yeah.
They are just wanting to release, and they know that their CEO is not going to judge them or HR is not going to punish them.
Were you at the Sirhant? Is that where I saw you at, the Sirhant one? Or no, where did I see you at? The last...
I know. I'm trying to think of where.
Something.
I know. I'm trying to think of where it was.
I saw you obviously at Enclave.
Yes. Yeah.
Saw you at Max's event last year.
Yep.
I swear I saw you at something else
I know.
recently too.
It was something recent, and I can't remember what the heck it is.
But it was
either.
a bang. I remember it, and it was insane. I want to say it was it the remember the hotel, or not the hotel, the apartment release? Was it that where Ricky Martin was performing, or that wasn't that one?
No, it wasn't that one. That was a great event though, but I wasn't playing at that one. But yeah, I can't remember.
I saw
what
you
it was,
at one
but
recently, but it was going.
Yeah. And that's the cool part, right? Like, and a lot of times I will conduct the crowd because I'm an MC and a live event host as well. I'm not scared to talk on the microphone. So if I see a lot of people sitting down, I'll kind of poke them. Hey, I see you guys sitting down right now, but let's get up. We're here to party for a reason. Come on, get up out of your seats. Get the dance floor. Let's have some fun. Boom. Oh, shit. Oh, you're right. I'm feeling guilty. I need to get up. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Like weddings, corporate functions, stuff like that. Or even if I see people on their cell phones, I'm like, finish up that video, put your phone in your pocket, get on the dance floor. Let's be in the moment. Let's be in the moment. Like I want to curate the experience because I want everybody to have a good time. And the more people that are not on their phones, and the more people that start to realize that they can socialize on the dance floor and still talk and hang out and sing the songs and let loose and stuff, like if I'm playing, a Journey Don't Stop Believing remix, or I'm playing Return of the Mac, or I'm playing something cool that everybody knows the words to, I'll cut off the words for the hook, let them sing it and cut it back on. And that will allow me to gauge the energy in the room. That will allow me to gauge if they're with me or not. And if they're not, I got to work a little bit harder to get them with me. But for the most part, it works every time because they hear their voices and they're like, oh, but they like it. It's like it's a wild thing, man, DJing and curating these vibes and experiences, and I'm blessed to get flown all over the country and even internationally to do, big events and stuff. And it's a lot of pressure sometimes, but afterwards it's the greatest gift because the clients are like, yo, you killed it. That was amazing. Or people are still talking about, this MasterCard event when we took over Live in Miami and it was like you and Biz Marquee and it was like everybody's still talking about that was 5 years ago. It's like, that's the cool thing, it's because those are long-lasting impressions that you're making on people versus nobody's going to remember if everybody was just on their phones.
I agree. And with that being said, share some stories with us about some incredible people that you've met or some incredible experiences that you've had. I mean, I'm sure you've seen so much.
Yeah, it's really wild, man. Being a kid from the Tampa Bay area, which, used to be, kind of, born in Tampa and kind of raised in Tampa, St. Pete. St. Pete was like God's waiting room. It was a sleepy town. everybody. We were like treated like the redheaded
You
stepchild.
didn't go there.
You didn't go there.
Yeah, I mean, downtown St. Pete.
You went there for the beach.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Like, we'd go to Vinoy for Vans Warped Tour. That was it.
Right.
And we'd roll up our windows when we drove to downtown.
100%, right? So it was always like, frowned upon, right?
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to cross the bridge to come to St. Pete, right? And we always had to cross the bridge to go to Tampa because Tampa, you could party till 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
St. Pete's curfew back in the day was only 2 a.m. Now, St. Pete is where it's at.
It's a vibe.
Baby. Yeah, St. Pete is the beach boating, backyard barbecue, hangout, Dolly Museum, 2 major sports stadiums within a few blocks of each other. You've got just amazing food, entertainment spaces. You cannot get bored. If it's a Monday at 9 o'clock at night and you want to go out, there's something cool to go to or to go and have a good time. But yeah, it's the evolution of this town has been amazing. But I travel, doing stuff with like Major League Baseball and Fanatics and doing like the All-Star break, doing Super Bowl. My first Super Bowl in 2017, working with Fanatics, going up there and doing the whole NFL experience and curating the vibe for everybody while they're shopping and getting their custom jerseys and stuff like that. And then having to do pop-up interviews with like, Dan Marino or certain,
Legends.
Legends and celebrities and stuff like that. It's a lot of pressure, but for me, it's fun. I thrive under kind of chaos. I just always have been. I think it's just how I'm wired. But I love it as a challenge too, as well. But that one up in Minneapolis was crazy because for 3 nights we were at this venue that looked like a mini House of Blues, 2 stories, and it was a straight events venue. But like, I walk in. And I was opening up for, we had Shaq, who was throwing down one night. We had Jamie Foxx. We had Rick Ross. We had G-Eazy. I mean, it was 3
Legends,
days.
yeah.
Doritos sponsored one night. The Palms Hotel Casino in Vegas sponsored another. And Barstool sponsored another. But I look up, Mark Cuban's there. Like, Gary V's hanging out. I mean, it was like everybody you could have dreamed of to connect with in a room that you would have had to pay $10,000, $50,000 to attend, like these summits and these events, was there. And I was just a lean, mean connecting machine, man. I'm just walking over and just, Gary, what's up, man? Good to see you again. But even if I hadn't seen him, which I had, but like other people, I would go up and be like, hey, great to see you again. I'm DJ Fresh, blah, blah, I'm playing, oh, what's up? It's all in how you approach those kind of people and all in how you make them feel comfortable. If you go up and you start obsessing over them and making them uncomfortable, they're going to be like, dude, get away from me. But if you make it so it's cool and it's comfortable, then you can get time with them because they feel comfortable with you. Like maybe you did see them at an event. Maybe, you were with them or whatever at another function or something like that. Because if you're in that room and you are of some sort of a caliber, like a DJ, or maybe you're a promoter, or maybe you're with a brand or something like that, then you are supposed to be there. So it makes it more comfortable, right? But I remember I'm up there on stage and it's me and Jamie Foxx's DJ, M. Dot, who's an amazing guy, and we're up there with a bunch of people, and Jamie Foxx is doing his thing. G-Eazy comes up, jumps on the where we have all of our turntables and stuff, and throws a water bottle on the crowd. The crowd goes nuts, and he just starts going crazy and does like 3 songs out of the blue. And then I look down and I see Mace from like Puff Daddy and Mace, like Mace Harlem World. I see Mace walking through the crowd, and I look at Jamie and I was like, yo, Fox. I was like, bro, Mace is walking down. Pull him up on stage. Bro, he pulls Mace up, and Mace goes right, and they just drop it, and he goes right into it, like not planned, just
goes for it.
Yeah. Oh man, and it was just like such an epic night, and I'm just like, I can't believe this happened. And then you go to an after party, and then it's like 6 a.m, and then you have to be back at the convention center to host the corporate stuff by like 8:30, and it's just like,
but you're probably so hyped at that point that you're just like, I'm not sleeping anyway. Like,
no, and I don't do drugs. I'm a clean guy, and it's like you don't need anything because you're so jacked up.
That's what I'm saying. The energy is just like insane.
Yeah, it's just you just keep going, because you're like, what's today gonna bring? Like this is day 3 or day 4, because we're there for like 5 days.
Yeah.
So it's just an absolute that was probably one of the craziest ones. For sure, just because of the amount of caliber people that event brings into, the city, everybody's there. Everybody's there.
Did you have any, I guess the best way to put this is maybe an entertainment hero that you've been able to meet? And was it a cool experience?
Yeah, man. I have been very blessed by partnering with a charitable organization like On Bikes. On Bikes is one of my favorite organizations where during the holiday time we raise money. We do a bike ride throughout downtown Tampa, and we basically raise money to buy bikes and build bikes and give them to kids that cannot have access to a bike, right? Man, I got to play with, and share the stage with DJ Jazzy Jeff and Mixmaster Mike from the Beastie Boys.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
On the same night. And then I got to play with Mike again later, and he came up to me and he was like, hey, he's like, if you want to MC throughout my show, feel free, bro. Just, I trust you. Get on the mic. I saw what you were doing earlier. And I was like, that to me was like, bro.
Life hammer. Like
goosebumps. Like that to me is like the most coolest way that I can feel like I've made it to that level when somebody who is so iconic in the hip hop and DJ world and was a part of one of the greatest hip hop groups, the Beastie Boys, ever, says, hey, you can MC through my set. Like that's just insane. And then I got to do this cool curated set with DJ Z-Trip, who is an absolute legend. He's LL Cool J's DJ. You can hear him on Sirius with they have a show called Salute the Sample, where he will play the original sample that the hip hop guys took, flipped it, and then that's like, oh wow, that's Hypnotize, or that's whatever, like by Biggie and blah blah blah. And we did this cool, it was actually like right after COVID, so everything was really kind of wonky, so we had to do stuff differently and adapt. But we did with On Bikes, we did a bike stock, so it was like a Woodstock 60s 70s kind of themed, and we curated this set that was like 60s 70s, like Led Zeppelin mixed with like LL Cool J, and just,
Yeah, I love mashups. That sounds amazing.
Bro,
yeah.
we just had a field day, and we got to play a little bit together, and that to me was like cool, because he's somebody that I just look up to that has just played everywhere and everywhere around the world, and now getting asked by all these big, huge names to be a part of their show. He came down and was playing a Reggae Rise Up with us, with Slightly Stoopid, and is just like, it's kind of cool seeing like your kind of dreams kind of come true, being able to be on the stage with these guys and play with these guys, or like help accentuate their show somehow, however small that may be. But just being able to have that opportunity and be invited is like, it's cool. It's really cool.
I want to circle. I mean, absolutely. Like the names you just dropped, and not saying just name dropping, but like that's insane. Like, how do you I'm still trying to break that down. I will say On Bikes, 5013C.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to go ahead and make sure that we put them in the description as well.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
if you guys can make sure you support DJ Fresh, I just wanted to drop that right there, and we'll make sure we put their website and their contact information, and let's help these kids get some bikes.
Absolutely.
And then when we do our end of year car show for the firm, we'll make sure that we drop them again and promote
Very
them
cool.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that, so we can get some kids some bikes in the Tampa Bay area.
Absolutely.
Long hours, we talked about it a little bit. Late nights, busy, 100 miles an hour, family man, businessman, etc. How do you stay healthy? Because obviously that's taxing on your body.
Yeah, I think that's the battle. That's the hard part, right? Is for 22 years straight, I was in the nightclubs, building nightclubs, curating the experiences, being the entertainment director, party planning, hosting, doing, wearing many hats, and I was drinking and partying because that just kind of came along with it. Kind of 2021, 2022, post-COVID, left the clubs and just went full-blown with private events, corporate functions, brand deals, all that kind of stuff. And it was the best thing for me, just kind of getting out of that. Now what I think is really cool is, well, the way I still stay healthy is obviously, not drinking. I'll socially have, one or two or whatever, but, I'm not doing shots anymore and, partying like we used to do. And, when we were, younger, and had more energy, because when you have a hangover now, 45, man, it hits you for days. And I got to be able to function. You know, I don't want to have bags under my eyes. I got to be on television. I have to be in front of crowds. I want to look good. I want to feel good. You know, I may be 45. I don't want to look 45. I don't want to feel 45. In the last few months, I went back to, kickboxing and martial arts and MMA and training. I've been, an instructor for the last year and a half with my son in Amir Academy of Martial Arts and helping my son, which has been really cool. So that's really, really helped me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, to get, just kind of work on myself, on my body, and my mindset too. Your mind is really, really big too. And a lot of people don't talk about the mental decline that a lot of us are going through, including men. It's hard to be a provider. It's hard to be, kind of the leader of the family, and work all day, come home and have the energy to play catch with your kid, or to hang out with your daughter and play Barbies, or to, spend quality time with, your wife and balance all of that, because, people are like, dude, how do you do it? I'm like, you have to balance life. You need time with your boys, but Kevin needs time by himself. But then Kevin needs time with his wife. But then Kevin needs time with the kid. Or if you have multiple kids, you need time with kid 1 and kid 2. But then you have to have time with the whole family as a whole. It's a lot.
Only so many ways you can cut the pie.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot. But, the people that can manage that and balance that are the ones that will have success and be healthy mentally, because they're getting the fulfillment and they're fulfilling everything that they need to do. So,
I think it's funny that, and we had a similar journey in the fact of putting, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'll say from my own story, it's so funny how you see high performers and successful people put health last.
Yeah.
Like it was like my story was, okay, get out of law school. Okay, get a job. Okay, start making money. Okay, acquire nice things, dress nice, do that. Okay, dating my wife, get married, have kids, things like that, build a business, et cetera, et cetera. Nowhere in that 30 seconds did I ever say anything about health.
Yeah.
And I was lucky.
Last.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to kind of have an epiphany maybe within the last 18 to 24 months, where it's like I'm sick of being fatty and I want to get healthy and I want to be have the energy, and a lot of that was an inspiration of my kids and my wife. My kids are amazing, and I always shout out my wife. She's a smoke show, love you, baby.
Yeah, you did good, buddy. Yeah. You did good. Give me some. You did good.
That's what's up.
You did good.
I did all right. No. She did all right. I did amazing. But it's always funny how men on the hierarchy of tasks, family man, getting close with God, creating a business, or working hard, et cetera, boom, 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 boom. Oh yeah, I need to get healthy.
Yeah.
Or I need to eat right. And I agree with you that it is very hard to cut the pie, but men definitely need to take an opportunity to get healthy.
Yeah.
And to, do what they can and try to fit that in wherever they can and prioritize that time.
Because it's not just your body, it's your mind everything. And your brain and your mental health. Your mental health will suffer because you look at yourself in the mirror, you don't feel good. Mm-hmm. You don't feel attractive. Like, we feel sexy too. Like, I look in the mirror and be like, man, I don't feel sexy. I don't feel like so-and-so is going to want me. I don't feel like, you know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to take my shirt off if I have to go to a pool party or go to the beach with some friends or like whatever. I want to feel confident in my body, so all of that trickles up to here, and then you start getting in your thoughts, right? And then feeling sluggish, not having any energy. And, like when your kid comes at you and he's like, hey, can we go outside or can we go somewhere? And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired right now, blah, 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 blah. Like, to be able to have that energy to dig down deep, even when you don't want to do it, but you're doing it for the greater good of the family, that's how you've got it mastered. You've got it done, And that's what it is, man. It's just, a lot of us guys, we put ourselves last. And that's what I did. For years, I put myself last, put the family first, the business first, growing everything, trying to be the provider. And I haven't trained, up until 2 months ago, training for this fight, the Battle of Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I was going to say, transition that, please talk about that.
I haven't trained in 20 years in martial arts.
It's May 9th, by the way.
May 9th. You
got a kickboxing tournament, fight, basically.
Yeah, so this is the crazy part. So I haven't trained in 20 years. I got my black belt when I was 14. And since I was 16 years old, I was training with Amir Academy of Martial Arts, which he's absolutely amazing. It's hands down one of the best schools in the country, if not definitely here in the state of Florida. We put out a lot of amazing fighters, but every year for the last 30 years, we have put on what's called the Battle of Tampa Bay. And normally I've been the DJ when I was like 18,
So funny how
19,
those
or
comes
I've been the ring announcer because we tie in helping veterans, which is great. So there's a philanthropic tie-in. So every ticket sold goes to helping some local veterans. Last year, we brought this single mom up. We gave her a car. She was kind of down on her luck.
It's
and
amazing.
I believe she was with the Air Force. And we brought her 2 kids up and gave her 2 kids a bike too as well, and just a bunch of things.
What a moment.
Yeah, and it's just kind of one of those feel-good moments that, like, why not do something for the community? Why not pick something? Doesn't matter. Just pick something where people are in need and help them and do something. And that's what we do with the Battle of Tampa Bay and Mirror Academy of Martial Arts. So I hadn't trained in 20 years. I just fell off because business, life, family, everything took precedent, and I put myself on the back burner. So I wasn't in good shape. I wasn't taking care of myself. And then, Master Amir was like, hey, I really want you to think about fighting in one of the next battles of Tampa Bay. I think it would be great. You have this great celebrityism, and, I think people would really be drawn to see you in this different light. They have not seen you ever compete like this and fight like this. And I was like, oh my gosh, man, I haven't trained in 20 years and blah, blah. He's like, well, just come take a fighting class and let's gauge and let's see where you're at, and at least come help train the fighters, right? And I was like, okay. Dude, my first class back, after we stretch, he's like, all right, everybody gear up. We're going to do 10 rounds. And I was like, my heart,
My chest.
buddy, just like, I was like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
I'm dead. There's no way. And now I'm going to look like a punk because I'm going to gas out after 4 or 5 rounds. But I was really proud of myself, man. I went all 10 rounds. I mean, the last 2, I'm just sitting there taking it.
Yeah.
But I didn't give up. I didn't sit down. I didn't quit. And afterwards, he's like, dude, you just did 10 rounds after not training for 20 years. He's like,
Yeah.
give me 2 months. Let me whip you into shape and let's have you fight in May. And I was like, all right.
Let's do it.
I was all like high on adrenaline. The next day, he had already paired me up with somebody. He already had the flyer
You're in.
out.
You had to
my
do it.
wife hits me up. What is this? I thought you told me you were never gonna fight and blah 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 blah. She was terrified, and I'm like, look, it's for charity. Yes, it's kickboxing, but it's full blown,
Headgear?
full contact kickboxing. Yeah, because only pro fights.
Okay,
you
cool.
can't do.
Yeah.
But we have a world title fight, which is awesome. One of our guys came in against a whole team from England. Are coming over for a world
cow.
International Sport Kickboxing Association world title fight, which is a big deal. And then we have a Florida State title fight too as well. So this is my first time that people are going to be able to see me in the ring doing what I love to do with martial arts and kickboxing. And it's full kicks, punches to the head, knee strikes are allowed, kicks to the leg. But we have to wear boxing gloves. Obviously, we wear shin guards and then we wear headgear. It's gonna be crazy. It's all for a great cause too as well. There's probably gonna be close to 900, maybe 1,000 people there.
It's
at the
insane.
Hilton in the Grand Ballroom.
Yeah.
And
Love it.
There'll be some cool, fun celebrities in attendance too. I got some ball players from all the different sports teams that come out and support. They were all like, "Wait, Fresh, is this real? Is this real?"
Yeah.
Nobody thought it was real. Everybody thought it was like some sort of
Like you were just
PR
marketing
stunt, or
gimmicky,
whatever.
Yeah.
So I literally had to go and comment and be
No,
like, "No, this is real. This is really
I've
happening.
seen your
Get your
content,
tickets now." You know what I mean? This is not a joke. We're really doing this and we're doing it. But Kevin, I tell you, it forced me to immediately throw myself into training, immediately get back into shape, and hold myself accountable. So this was really like a me versus me thing, to see if I can still compete, to see if I can still do this after 20 years of kind of being stagnant with it and not really doing anything. So it's a me versus me thing with also helping some great veterans in the community too. So if you don't have any plans May 9th, I better see you there.
I'll be there.
So
100%. I'll be there. Similar again with training. So I was horrible at running from a kid. I'm a horrible runner. I
hate
just
running.
can't run. Yeah. You either love it or
Right
hate
there
it.
with you. Yeah.
And I said, 2026 when I was laying out my goals, I'm like, I'm going to run a 5K. I'm going to finally do it. And I did it in February. Dude, it carried me through probably, I think it was like the middle of February or something like that. It carried me through the rest of the month.
Yeah.
I mean, that you versus you.
Yeah.
Once you kind of, hit a certain level of success, we'll call it. I mean, you're never done. We're all working working toward, things, higher and higher levels. But that high that you get from winning for yourself, and you're your only.
I did it.
Yeah,
I accomplished that.
It's incredible.
Congrats to you, bro.
Thanks,
That's
dude.
awesome.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
dude,
it was really
I'm
cool.
telling you right now, I cannot, nor do I ever want to do a 5K.
Yeah.
We have to run, a mile or two, right, with our conditioning and training and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And then I turn it into like, it's like an angry hate against it. Like I'm gonna conquer you. Yeah. But man, good for you, bro.
Thanks,
good for you. That's awesome.
So it's obviously not just DJing. Obviously, we talked about you owning, a couple businesses and things like that. You're also a TV host you do some brand work with HSN, which I had no idea. Tell me about that.
Yeah. I don't post a lot of stuff because I don't, I never want to be that guy that's like posting every 5 seconds of like, here's everything I'm doing.
Live streaming.
It's just, look, it's just not me, and I'm busy. It's hard. I'm sitting on so much amazing content that I just haven't even got out there yet. But I'm more about servicing my clients, making these relationships, making these connections, and doing great stuff that I'll get around to the content and stuff like that. But yeah, HSN has been really, really cool. It's opened up a lot of other doors for me too on the brand side because I'm a DJ, because I'm already a product expert with things like electronics, like headphones, right? Like I started with Beats by Dre, became kind of like their brand ambassador, and I would go on air and I would sell high-end $300, over-the-ear studio headphones that were Bluetooth and with all these, different cool benefits and features. Or, I got to have will.i.am from the Black Eyed Peas, and they asked me to launch his Buttons, wireless earbud line and stuff like that. So interviewing him, and then having. Then also DJing for celebrities when they came in. Like Tyra Banks did a huge launch, and we went out to like 15 million people on Facebook Live and all this other stuff on top of the millions that were watching. And I was her DJ, and we hit it off. And then 6 months later, she asked me to come back and do the follow-up. And then we wound up recording some cool, me and my partner, Steve Swenson, we wound up recording some cool, like, she has these little rap tutorials that she does with like her makeup stuff. So we recorded and did stuff with her. And so we were like locked in the studio for like 4 hours and just having fun. It's just like, you just never know what opportunities can come out of just you doing something different and you trying something else. And but it's been great and it's been cool, and it's Sony, Toshiba, Samsung, Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, being able to be tied in with an amazing brand like Margaritaville that's so strong was absolutely amazing. So just being able to kind of get headhunted from brands to represent them is really, really cool. Really cool.
And I'm sure too. I mean, and kind of breaking it down and food for thought for the audience is you have a skill set that you're very good at, but you make connections the right way, like you said, and you're grateful for the connections. And it's not the all about me show.
Yeah.
I've never gotten that sense through the whole time we've talked in the last 45 minutes. The words that you've used, curating a vibe, connecting with people, doing a great job, hustling and things like that. Never once have you said, and I'm the greatest DJ in the world, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm doing this. It was never it was always about talking about the experience. And I really want to get that across to the audience. It's not about it's not as about the individual. It's about what you're providing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, again, are so high in themselves that they almost get in their own way. And 100%. It's like just doing a great job, just being a cool guy, just being somebody that people like being around.
Right.
Could lead to so much opportunity rather than going up and saying, "Hey, I'm a DJ and I'm amazing and I've been doing this for 25 years and I think you're the greatest thing ever and you were a supermodel and like Tyra's situation and you're great and I think we should work together and all this." She's probably like, "Oh my, like I don't even know what you just said right now."
Right.
Rather than being like,
it's a turn off.
Doing a great job, doing amazing. Hey, that guy was really cool and he was really down to earth and stuff like that. Let's have him come back out to the next thing, and then let's do this. And I think it's just these natural curations, of just being yourself that I think a lot of people are so concerned about putting on a facade rather than, again, just doing a great job and letting that speak for itself.
Yeah, and thank you, and I appreciate that. And it's it's an ego check. When I worked for radio, I had an ego. When I became a radio personality, I mean, it was just like it was insane. And I did let it get to me, and I remember it like it was yesterday. They fired me, and I really believe that they fired me because I had an ego. But I think it was the best thing for me. And Orlando is the program director over there, and he's been there since day one. He and I are great friends now. But I almost thank them for that opportunity of firing me, because if they had not checked my ego, if they had not helped me to wrangle myself in, I don't know if I would be this type of Doug or DJ Fresh right now. I like being the humble guy, the approachable guy, the guy that's, not pompous and not pretentious and not, that just never was really me. And I did feel like at that, kind of a couple of years into the radio stuff, I did lose track of who I was. So I'm glad that happened earlier in my life rather than later. Because I see a lot of people doing that, and there's so many talented DJs, TV hosts, entrepreneurs, out there. You can learn from a lot of them, and they don't do that. They don't me. I want to talk about the children's organizations that I deal with. I want to talk about the kids who are battling cancer at like Children's Cancer Center or like the Children's Dream Fund. I want to talk about how we're able to raise money, from doing this event or that event, or like, those things to me are long legacy type of memories and things that, will transpire versus, yes, I've done stuff with a crap ton of celebrities and it was awesome and all of that stuff. And that's cool. And that adds to this, I guess, celebrityism that is attached to DJ Fresh. But like, Doug is always going to be Doug, and Doug is always going to want to do stuff and put on for kids who are sick or people that are going through hard times, or, things like the veterans with the Battle of Tampa Bay and stuff like that. It's like, I always want to give back to the community because the community has given so much to me. So, I want people, like I said, when I'm not in the room, I want people to talk very highly of me. And like I said, I don't advertise. So I rely on word of mouth and referral for my business. Because once that stops, my business stops. Mm-hmm. I'm not out there putting flyers on cars anymore. I'm not out there going, hire DJ Fresh Events for this, for your kid's bar mitzvah, for your wedding, for your corporate event. Like, I don't do that. It's, I go out there and I do an amazing job and I exceed expectations and they refer me out. And when everybody's asking for a DJ, they're like, you got to have DJ Fresh, blah, blah, blah. He's the guy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's the biggest compliment.
Massive compliment. I mean, that's, you're either doing a great job and getting referrals that way from, prior clients, or you're spending a bunch of money on marketing trying to get clients. Right. So pick your poison.
And hoping that it works and hoping that your agency is doing what they should be doing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I called you the Sound of Tampa Bay because I think you are the Sound
That's
of Tampa
so cool,
Bay.
man.
Yeah. So you're going to have to coin that. So hopefully.
That's awesome, man. I'm going to make a shirt or something.
You host for the Bucks and then DJing for the Rays.
Yeah.
You're performing in front of thousands of people pretty regularly. Do you or did you ever get nervous?
Yeah, man, I still do. I'll tell you.
And then talk about tips for confidence is where I'm going with that.
Have a good friend.
Okay.
I'm going to shout out Chris Archer, one of our former pitchers from the Tampa Bay Rays. So we were doing this event for the Children's Dream Fund. This was several years ago. And we were doing what's called Rays on the Runway. Rays on the Runway is an amazing event where we have the Rays players and their wives walk one of the dream children from the Children's Dream Fund down the runway, and we raise money for the Dream Fund.
That's
right?
So great.
And the Dream Fund helps to fund dreams for kids who are fighting a terminal illness, right? They want to go meet Chris Pratt, or they want to go to Disney World, or they want to go swim with dolphins. We raise money and funds to be able to give them and their family that dream. Right? Those memories. I don't know what came over me, and I had already done this event multiple times. And I'm very lucky, I think, with my personality that God gave me the gift of gab and the gift to just go out there and, even if I laugh at myself to get laughs or whatever, I can just have a way with people and events to where I just make it fun and, take the stuffiness out of the room, and we all just kind of connect for the greater good of whatever we're doing for that event. I got so nervous, I just started shaking, which is not like me. I mean, I can go and step out in front of 30,000 fans at a packed stadium and kill it. But I think it hit me that like, hey, I have to go out. I wasn't DJing, I was hosting, right? So I'm hosting this runway fashion show with our Major League Baseball players, our Major League Baseball team, these beautiful kids who have been stuck in a hospital with tubes all in them, fighting these illnesses and stuff, and had the energy to come up to just walk the runway, and then their families are there, and then corporate sponsors and partners are there. And I think it just hit me that like, man, all this is on me to raise funds, you know? And I started like shaking. Chris Archer comes over and he puts his hand on me. He's like, Fresh, you all right? And I was like, no, bro, I'm not good like right now. And normally I internalize things because I don't want people, you know, nobody wants to hear like the DJ and the guy like, oh, he's having a breakdown. Oh, yeah.
Great, our DJ had a panic attack.
Yeah, it's like, I'm like breathing into a brown paper bag
in the corner.
Yeah, you know.
He'll be fine, give him a minute.
Especially right before an event, because
Yeah.
that's going to freak out everybody else. And he looks at me and he's like, bro, he's like, you're DJ Fresh, dude. He's like, this is what you do for a living. He's like, you have like the best job in the world. He's like, you got this. And like, he just had this pep talk with me that didn't feel like a pep talk, but it just felt like a homie talking to another homie. And he just gave me so much confidence. And Chris, dude, I love you for that, man. You're a real one, and I will never forget that. But it's funny because I've been in so many scenarios where I've had to adapt or do stuff on the fly or like put out fires because other people were dropping the ball in events, and I've had to pick up the slack or do this or that. But nothing had me more with my stomach in knots than that in that event. And I think it was because of the pressure of these amazing children, wanting to produce for them, wanting to raise for them. And yeah, it was just like in my own head. I don't know. I think it happens to everybody at some point, you know, sometime, regardless of what it is or what you do. But like, you just get those nerves and your mind starts getting affected by it, and you don't know how to get out of it. But yeah, so shout out to Chris Archer, man, for talking me off the ledge, because I was like a wreck. And then we went out there and we crushed it. And
amazing.
Yeah, and did great. So yeah.
You've mentioned all of your philanthropic efforts, you know, a couple times, obviously, which is incredible. What's it like to see Tampa Bay come together and support some of these causes?
It's the best.
It's got to be an incredible feeling.
It's the best, because it didn't used to be like that. There, you know, back in the day, there was only, you know, a handful of organizations.
Well, Tampa didn't have the money it has
now. No, it didn't. You know, we've got, you know, Kathy Wood from the tech sector coming in, and we've got, you know, the Vinnick Sports Group, and we've got major power players now.
The Glazer family.
I mean, you name it. You know, even like the Rays Baseball Foundation, you know, they do a great job too. But like, you know, we have so many local companies and businesses understanding the value in community and in charitable giving. And I mean, I'm a part of a lot of charitable organizations, and I see, you know, I mean, from the Heart Ball for, you know, or I'm sorry, the Magnolia Ball with Moffitt Cancer to, you know, like I said, the Children's Dream Fund. You know, we just had we did a luncheon at Armature Works like a couple of weeks ago, and we had a record raise at the luncheon. I mean, in you know, upcoming in July with Martinis for Moffitt. You know,
great event I've done.
I've been doing that event for I think 15 years. And, you know, it's just year after year, record numbers. But yeah, it's the right kind of people moving here. It's the right companies moving here. It's the right people knowing that, hey, I can donate. Yeah, I can get a business write-off, or I can do this or whatever, or I can donate out of my heart. And it's just like, I've never seen anything like it. It's just being in a room with a lot of very powerful people who are so giving with not only their wallets, but also their hearts. And it's a beautiful thing, because it's letting us know that we can help a lot of people, even, you know, with the hurricanes. You know, I'm back in Shore Acre, Snow Isle area, man. We got 4 feet of water with the hurricanes, and watching the resiliency of companies and communities and neighbors getting together and helping each other, you
incredible.
know, to recover and repair was just absolutely wonderful. I mean, I'll never leave this area, man. I say it all the time, and people, I think, get sick of me saying it, but I'm like, I travel all across, and I'm just like, get me back. Get me back to paradise.
I'm the same way. Yeah. I mean, I talk about it like, you know, people, I get yelled at by my office all the time, my team, for not taking vacations. And I'm like, where am I going to go?
Yeah.
Like, Vegas?
Yeah.
We got casinos here.
Yeah.
You know, where am I going to go? California? That's its own problem.
Right.
You know, New York has its own issues. You know, I love Miami, but we all know we can only do Miami for so long.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, you have everything.
Where do you go?
Yeah, you have everything here.
We have sports stadiums. We have, you know, entertainment. We have I mean, there was one weekend, and this was like I think 3 months ago, and I said to my wife, I'm like, there's literally a hockey game, a country concert. I think it was like Morgan Wallen or something like that was in town. The Bucks game, and like 2 other things.
Yeah.
same weekend.
It's insane.
Like major events. And I'm just like, holy cow. So I did want to circle back with the philanthropy though. And I wanted to encourage the audience. So, you talked about like on bikes and things like that. I think a lot of people have the misnomer that, you have to write checks for $50,000 or $100,000 to make a difference.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
No, not at all. I mean,
donating one bike to
donating your time.
Yeah, donating your time
to build a bike. They have a bike build where people can come in there and actually just help build the bikes to be delivered to the kids.
It's incredible.
You could just volunteer at the Children's Dream Fund to help check in people as they register for the Rays on the Runway. You can help donate maybe a gift card so that a family at the Children's Cancer Center doesn't have to worry about groceries for the week or cooking for 2 nights, so that their parents can have a break. There are so many ways. All you got to do is ask. All you got to do is ask. The same as we were talking about with business opportunities coming up, right? If you don't ask, you can't ever open up the door to be able to potentially get that opportunity. So I encourage everybody, just do something. Just donate with your time. If you don't have the money, that's fine. But donate with your time, because your time is your most precious, valuable asset. If you can stroke a check for $100, $100,000, amazing. And watch how many lives you're going to change. The average, dream that we have to fund is around like $8,000 to send a kid and their family on, to Kids Save the World or Disney or Swim with Dolphins or whatever. It's hard to raise $8,000, right?
Of course.
But if you have people in the right room, you can really change some lives, and that's something that you'll remember forever and ever, and that family will remember forever and ever. But you can always donate with your time. It doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary thing.
With that being said, as far as being remembered, we talked about it a little bit beforehand, and I ask this question at the end of every podcast. I say, and first of all, I want to thank you again so much for coming on,
man. Always great to
amazing.
Hang and chop it up with you.
When the music stops and you're at the end of your story, what do you want to be remembered for?
Yeah, it's not necessarily, there's kind of two sides of this. So the DJ Fresh, the DJ thing is great because when I have a crowd with me, right? We're in a moment together. Whether it's corporate event, wedding, charity function, baseball game, it doesn't matter. When that crowd is with me, my goal is to have them forget about their problems, their worries, their bills, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the husband, the wife, whatever drama they may be going through, whatever trials and tribulations they may be going through. I want them to be in the moment, dancing, celebrating, partying, having a good time, and just being in the moment with the vibe as a whole, right? Because it's so healthy, But really, for me, it's just that I want people to remember Doug, Hensel, and DJ Fresh as always going above and beyond as a good steward of the community, helping to put St. Pete and Tampa Bay on the map with philanthropy, entertainment, doing cool, unique things to help other people, and the philanthropy thing, giving back. I've got 2 beautiful, healthy, I call them babies, but, Daphne's 16 and Jake's 13, and I'm very blessed to have 2 healthy kids. So why wouldn't I want to give back to families that are battling with their children's health? Why wouldn't I want to give back to, kids that can't go to their school dance or their prom or their homecoming because they're in a hospital? So to me, I just want people to take away that, he was a great dude with a great heart who donated a lot of his time to help other people and their families. Because that to me means more to me than the coolest thing I've ever DJ'd or the coolest environment I've ever been in, because, like this past Sunday, we did a Ride, Restore, Refresh at Children's Cancer Center headquarters with Union 3 Cycling Studios. They brought out other cycling, so they did a couple different cycling classes. A guy brought out my buddy Keith brought out a cold plunge, a portable sauna, so a huge health and wellness. Fit Life Foods was out there. All these healthy community partners were out there, all for the greater good of the kids. And then 2 of these amazing fighters from Children's Cancer Center came up and they wanted to DJ, so I had them up there DJing. And Brittany from Children's Cancer Center just sent me the pictures and the video yesterday of these little girls and me DJing. And I was just like, that
It's everything.
That to me is so much cooler than like pictures with these celebrities and like I did a party with 50 Cent or Rick Ross or whatever it may be, like that. Because I don't know how long they may have to treasure that moment, but for me, I'm always going to treasure that. Like that was so beautiful and so impactful. Like it just sits in your heart better and different, you know? So those kind of cool moments are what and how I would like to be remembered.
Well, absolutely incredible. It's an inspiration and a challenge to all of us to make sure that we're supporting our local community. And I can't thank you so much for being a community steward and
Thanks,
now
man.
friend.
Yeah.
So
Well, you as
getting
well,
to know
too,
you, I
man.
appreciate
You
it.
know, people like us need to team up more and do more cool stuff together. And I appreciate you having me on this
course.
podcast. This is episode number what?
46.
That's a big deal, bro.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome,
thanks,
man.
man.
Keep
Thanks.
it up. Keep it
So-
up. Thank you.
Well, I appreciate you as always, DJ Fresh. It is no accident that you are as successful as you are. Thank you so much for coming on.
My man. Thank you, buddy.
We'll see you guys soon.